everyone, let's talk about Cypress. We are going to tackle a big one today. How do you actually master end-to-end testing with it? If you really want to go from a beginner to a total pro, this is your path. So let's get ready for the climb.
So, have you ever opened up the Cypress documentation, you see that giant list of commands, and you just feel completely lost? Cy.get, cy.intercept, cy.wrap. It's a lot. It's a super common feeling. You're just thinking, where do I even start?
I want you to think of learning Cypress like you're climbing a mountain. You wouldn't just walk up to it and start scrambling up a random cliff, right? No way. You'd want a map, a clear route that gets you from your base camp all the way to the summit safely. Well, that's exactly what we're going to build together today. And the most important thing about this map is understanding why the order you learn this stuff in is so important. If you take a structured approach and learn it category by category, you build this incredibly strong foundation. You master the basics first, then you start adding the more complex stuff on top. This way, you're not just memorizing commands, you're actually building a mental model of how testing really works. So here it is. This is our entire path of the mountain, all laid out in 7 stages. We're going to start at base camp with the basics. Then we'll move into the core loop of queries, actions, and assertions. After that, we'll grab some essential gear with utilities and network commands. And finally, we are going to plant our flag at the very summit with advanced skills. That's the big picture.
All right, every big adventure has to start somewhere, right? For us, that means setting up a solid base camp. And that means mastering the most fundamental commands, the ones you are going to use in literally every single test you ever write. We're going to start with what is, without a doubt, the single most important command in all of Cypress, cy.get. Just think of this as your main tool for finding stuff on the page. Almost every single test you write is going to start right here. If you master this one command, you've already taken the biggest, most critical step forward. Of course, cy.get needs a few friends to get the job done. Your Basecamp gear includes these other essentials. cy.visit is how you get to the web page in the first place. cy.contains gives you another great way to find elements. And then cy.url and cy.title let you do a quick check to make sure you're even on the right page. Simple, but crucial. Okay, so our Basecamp is all set up. Now, the real climb begins. We're moving into the rhythm of testing, this fundamental cycle of reading what the app is doing, acting like a user, and then checking to see what happened. This whole loop breaks down into 3 really simple phases. First, you use queries, like cy.find, to read the state of your app. Then you use actions, like cy.click or cy.type, to pretend you're a user doing something. And finally, you use assertions, like .should, to check if the app did what you expected it to do. Read, act, check. That's it. That is the heartbeat of every single test. And this isn't just some random list of commands, It's a pattern, a repeatable process. It's the method you're going to use to take a user story or a test case and turn it into code that actually mimics how a real person uses your app and proves that it works. Okay, we are definitely climbing higher now. We've left those easy, clear paths behind us. Real-world apps are messy, they've got network requests spiring off, things happening at different times, tons of test data. This next stage is all about learning the tools to handle all that complexity. Now, this slide right here highlights what is maybe the most important best practice for writing stable tests. A huge mistake people make is using a hard-coded wait, just a blind pause. This is what leads to flaky tests that fail for no reason. The professional way to do it is with cy.intercept. This lets you wait for a specific network request to finish, which makes your test way more robust and reliable because it's tied to what the app is actually doing. So besides just intercepting network calls, your real-world toolkit needs these commands too. cy.fixture lets you load in predictable test data, so your tests are consistent. cy.request lets you test your APIs directly, which is huge for true end-to-end coverage. And cy.wrap, well, that's a super powerful little utility for bringing other objects and values into your Cypress test. We are so close to the summit now. This is the final push, and this section isn't just about writing one test. It's about building a whole automation suite that's scalable, easy to maintain, and something you could run with confidence in a real production environment. So, reaching the summit isn't about learning more little commands. It's about mastering 4 huge concepts that bring it all together. You're going to write custom commands to make your tests cleaner. You'll use plugins to add totally new features. You'll integrate everything into a CI/CD pipeline so it all runs automatically. And you'll make sure your app works for everyone by running your tests across different browsers.
We did it. We made it to the top. And from up here, we can look back and see the entire path that we just climbed. So let's put it all together into one single clear map that you can take with you on your journey. And here it is, your complete roadmap, all in one place. This table lays out every single stage we climbed, from the absolute basics to the advanced skills, and it shows you the key commands for each category and exactly why that stage is so important. This is your guide, your cheat sheet for the whole journey. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's pretty simple, actually. A structured approach isn't just one way to do it. It's the fastest and the best way to become an expert. When you build your knowledge in these logical layers, you make sure you don't have any gaps, and that makes you a much more effective and confident engineer. And let's just end on this one key idea, because it really gets to the heart of why this matters so much. This isn't just about learning to write code. It's about learning to think and communicate like a professional. When you master this order, it gives you a framework to not only write amazing tests, but to actually explain your strategy in a job interview and prove you've got what it takes. So, what's the first step on your map that you're going to focus